Peace and blessings of the Most High be upon everyone this morning who see this video. This is Zayo coming to you April 29th, 2014. The reason why I'm making this video is something that the Most High revealed to me this past weekend, the 26th and 27th, on ABC World News. But before we start, I'd like to read a passage out of the Holy Bible, which is Luke chapter 21, verse 11 through 21. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famine, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience you will gain your souls. And when you shall see Jerusalem surrounded with armies, then know desolation is near. Amen. Okay, before we start, I seen something on YouTube I need to share with you. A lot of people probably seen it. A lot of people have probably not seen it. But to get you up to speed and get you to know what I'm talking about, I'm just going to play this small video for you, and then I'm going to play something else that's seen on ABC World News. Okay? So I'm going to start with this gentleman. He can explain to you more quickly than I can. All right, let's begin.
Peace, this is your host, Selah Shalom, and this is the Cosmon Teachings in the Words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors. And the topic of discussion today is called The End of Pope Benedict XVI and the Coming of the Son of Perdiction, and the Book of Revelations, chapter 17. This is for my Bible prophecy readers. Today they announced Monday 11th on the Roman calendar, which on the moon cycle is the 28th night and day of the first moon cycle of the year, being a Sabbath moon, that the Pope will be resigning from office. Now, if you are familiar with biblical prophecies, this is a major event, because in Revelation chapter 17, verse 10 and 11, it speaks of Rome and the 8 kings which will rule, and the 8th king will be the son of perdiction, the beast, as stated in Revelation chapter 17, verse 10 and 11, as stated, verse 10, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdiction. Now we're going to break this down. This passage is referring to the Vatican state and the rulers or kings of the Vatican state, and specifically beginning with the year 1929. Why 1929? Because the year 1929 was the year the Vatican became an independent sovereign state due to the agreement of the Lateran Treaty. And to prove that this revelation is referring to Rome, in the book of Revelation chapter 17 verse 9 it states, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. This verse is referring to the 7 mountains of Rome, while the Vatican City or the church represents the woman. Now, the first pope to reign after the Vatican became a sovereign state in 1929 was Pius XI, and he is the first king out of the 8 kings mentioned in Revelation chapter 17 verse 10. Now, the first king out of the 8, Pius XI, began his reign February 11th, 1929. And it is funny because it is February 11th, the same date that Pope Benedict XVI is stepping down from the throne. So that is an interesting connection with those dates. Now, Pope Pius XI ended his reign February 10th, 1939. So he had a 10-year reign. Now, the second king out of the 8 is Pius XII, and he reigned from March 2nd, 1939 to October 9th, 1958, and he reigned for 19 years. The third king out of the 8, John Pope the 23rd, who reigned from October 28th, 1958 to June 3rd, 1963, which was 5 years. The fourth king out of the 8 is Paul VI, and he reigned from June 21st, 1963 to August 6, 1978, and he had a reign of 15 years. The fifth king out of the 8, John Paul I, and he reigned from August 26, 1978 to September 28, 1978, being 33 days. Now I just named the first 5 kings, which in Revelation 17 verse 10 states that, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. These are the 5 fallen kings. And the 6th pope or king was the beloved John, which in verse 10 states, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is. This 1 is was referring to John Pope II, the most beloved pope, as stated. He ruled from October 16th, 1978 to April 2nd, 2005, and he had a reign of 27 years. The 7th king out of the 8 was Benedict XVI, and this is the pope referred to as having a short reign, as stated in Revelation 17 verse 10. And the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short reign. This is referring to Benedict XVI. His reign was 8 years, which is a very short reign compared to the other popes that preceded him. And his reign was from April 19th, 2005 to February 11th, 2013. And his reign was for 8 years. Now, coming to the 8th king. Now that Benedict is stepping down, this leaves the throne open for the 8th king, which will be the son of perdiction, as stated in Revelation chapter 17 verse 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdiction. So here it shows that the 8th king, or the 8th pope, is the beast, and will be the son of perdiction. And this is where we are at right now, as we observe the Vatican. And this is why this is a major event, because the next pope will be the son of perdiction, the beast, according to the prophecy. And it also states that the son of perdiction, being the 8th pope or the 8th king, will be of the 7. But I have heard some people say through this passage that the 8th king could be a clone of one of the 7 that has preceded. And due to genetic engineering, anything is possible now.
That's right.
Some has put out that prophecy, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. It is just up in the air. Now, in Revelation chapter 17 verse 8, it states,
this gentleman right here,
that those sawest,
and this
not,
gentleman,
and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdiction. And they that dwell on the earth shall wander, whose names were not written in
well,
the
as
book
I
of
say,
life from the foundation
this
of the earth.
beast
When
and
they
that
beheld
beast.
the beast that was and is not and yet is. And this is referring to the 8th pope or the 8th king, being the beast, the son of perdiction. And this is what you can expect based off the prophecy. And I'm going to leave it out on that note. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings. Shalom.
Shalom. Okay, you heard what he just said, okay? Now, I'm going to give you the news report that came on 26th and 27th, okay? It's very profound, and it's going to shock you. But nothing in this world should shock you anymore, because these people are doing everything to keep you blind. All right? So I'm going to play this clip from the news, ABC News with David Muir. Okay.
And at the Vatican tonight, 1 million people are preparing for a ritual that has never been seen in the 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church. Tomorrow, Pope Francis will bestow sainthood on 2 former popes at the same time. Crowds there camping out in St. Peter's Square to wait for the ceremony. You can see the image of Pope John Paul II there. A group of priests celebrating this Saturday on the eve of the ceremony. And ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, is waiting with the crowds at the Vatican tonight. Terry?
Good evening, David. Just look at this scene. As far as the eye can see, leading up to St. Peter's back there, people camping out, singing, praying.
Let me pause this for a minute. I don't know if you can see it or not, but every time ABC, NBC, CNN, all these news channels, Fox, every time they have reports about things of religion, military enforcement, space odyssey, science, technology, whatever, they always bring some kind of person to report this. And I don't know if you can see it. This person eye, left eye, is the right on your screen, but the left eye keep changing brown, black, and red, and that's not my television. Okay, but I can't really show you because I'm trying to play this video for you, so I'm gonna keep on going with this.
It's a kind of joyful Catholic jamboree. In churches across Rome tonight, prayer vigils. Many of the faithful quietly preparing for an unprecedented event. Two beloved popes of modern times, John Paul II and John the 23rd, raised up tomorrow to the ancient community of the saints.
It's not the decisions they necessarily made as popes. It's their spiritual lives, their holiness, their energy that they brought to evangelizing, to spreading the gospel.
The fast track to sainthood for John Paul II has stirred controversy because of the shadow of the sex abuse scandal during his papacy. This is where the canonizations will happen, and up those steps will come the relics, the flesh of John the 23rd, the blood of John Paul II, all...
Now you heard me just say the relics, the blood of Pope Paul John II, and the flesh of John the 23rd, Pope John the 23rd. Now, what do you need with these relics? God said, have no graven image of anything, no idol worship, no nothing. And they still doing it. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to play it again for you so you can hear it.
Scandal during his papacy. This is where the canonizations will happen, and up those steps will come the relics, the flesh of John the 23rd, the blood of John Paul II, all witnessed by up to 1 million pilgrims. Catholics believe relics vividly bring the faithful closer to the saints, and they'll be an essential part of this canonization ceremony. John Paul's blood taken in the final days of his life, John the 23rd's flesh when his body was reburied in St. Peter's in 2001. It might seem medieval to some, and it is, but...
You know damn right it's medieval.
To Catholics like Ana Navarro, this day matters. Are saints still relevant in the modern world?
You bet they are. This is a tough world. This is a tough life to get through. You've got to have some faith. You've got to have something to pray to.
Now, you just heard what she just said. We do need saints. Yeshua the Christ said, there shall be none after me. Okay? We don't need no more saints out here. We don't need no more prophets because most of them are false prophets and false saints. And you know that the Vatican is a very, very sick place. Okay? It was a report that most priests said, if you want to meet Satan in the flesh or meet Satan in person, go to the Vatican courtyard. He sits there every day and every afternoon. Okay? So you heard what she just said. We need someone to pray to. You need God to pray to. That's who you need to pray to, the Most High. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to play the second half of this report that came on the 27th, which is Sunday. All right? And I want you to listen to it. Okay? Let me go down. Okay, here we go. All right, this is the second report on Sunday. All right?
Greeted by his successor,
Oh,
Pope
excuse me,
Francis.
let me rewind it for you. Hold on. I didn't have it all the way rewind. Okay.
With secretaries and tonight.
Let me fast forward this, even though that's something you need to watch and need to hear.
Government's handling of the
But
aftermath.
it's not what we're talking about. Okay.
Tonight, the Catholic Church has 2 new saints named in the same day, and that's a first for the church. Nuns in St. Peter's Square holding up a banner with images of the 2 popes canonized during an ancient ritual. Meanwhile, in a very modern twist, some of the faithful watching the ceremony in 3D. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Terry Moran.
I'm going to tell you why they're watching it in 3D. They're watching the interdimensional spirit that comes out of this beast. And see, it's only a select few that could see this. And it's a select elite that would give them, that they would give glasses to see this 3D presentation.